B'ezrat Hashem, this evening, this class tonight is sponsored by our dear friend Marco Scaba in memory of his brother Michael ben Widad, ben Widad. B'ezrat Hashem, may the shi'ur should be le'ilui nishmato, teheh nishmato, tzura v'tzura ra'chaim. Amen. This week's Parashat Vayetze. There is so many topics. We could talk about the letter, the dream. There is so much what to talk about. But allow me to skip the beginning part, and I want to talk about Yaakov Avinu's marriage. We could learn about Yaakov's life, and also what we can take from the parasha of Yaakov's marriage. And once again, we have no idea, we have no clue, we have no tools even to know who's Yaakov Avinu, but yet we're going to learn the Pesukim. Yaakov Avinu, the father that raised the 12 tribes, והם נקראים עמודו של העולם, התקרה של העולם. The ceiling of the world, what holds the world on, is the Shevatim HaKdoshim. And all the Torah that came down the generation, everything goes to Yaakov Avinu's credit. He is the father. So I would like to start to learn about Yaakov's marriage with Rachel and Leah, and on the way we'll learn a little bit about Yaakov's image, our great father Yaakov HaKadosh. So I'm starting in Perek Chavtet, Pasuk Aleph. אומרת התורה, ויישא יעקב רגליו וילך ארצה בני קדם. Yaakov Avinu went Bnei Kedem. He's going all the way up the north. וירא והנה באר בשדה, והנה שם שלושה עדרי צאן רובצים עליה, כי מן הבאר ההיא ישקו העדרים והאבן גדולה על פי הבאר. Yaakov Avinu comes and he sees a well, and he sees 3 shepherds that they were sitting by the well, and there is a big rock on the well. ונאספו שמה כל העדרים וגללו את האבן מעל פי הבאר וישקו את הצאן וישיבו את האבן על פי הבאר למקומה. The Torah tells us that the way they used to draw water and give the water to the tzon, to the goats, the way they used to have it, all the shepherds, they used to get together and they used to flip the rock from the well, used to draw water and then put it back. It seems when you read such a pasuk, you don't understand what's going on, what's the hidush over here? What's the Torah is telling us? But the truth of the matter is, it's hitting over here. Shlosha edrei tzon vebe'er, it talks about the Bet HaMikdash. Veshlosha edrei tzon mean we have 3 shlosha regalim, we're going up to Bet HaMikdash, shlosha regalim, Pesach, Shavuot, and Sukkot. And Kimin HaBe'er HaHi, which is the Bet HaMikdash, Yashku HaAdarim Am Yisrael, the draw Ruach HaKodesh, Ve'ha'even Gedola Al Pi HaBe'er, there is a big rock, which is the heart. Ha'even Zebalev, which when you go to Bet HaMikdash, you remove the rock from the left, from the heart. And that's what you do. You draw Ruach HaKodesh from Pesach to Shavuot, Shavuot to Sukkot, Sukkot to Shavuot. Meaning, I'm just giving you a little a taste that when you read such a parasha, it seems a love story. But has v'shalom to even think about it this way. The whole parasha talks about Kedushat Yaakov Avinu. You read the Be'er, you read about the shepherds, and Be'emet, everything talks about the future of Am Yisrael, Bet HaMikdash, and Shlosha Regalim, Ruach HaKodesh. נמשיך הלאה. Yaakov Avinu, he sees the shepherds, Vayomer lahem Yaakov achai me'ayin atem, my brothers, מאיפה אתם? ויאמרו מחרן אנחנו. We coming from Haran, we live in Haran. ויאמר להם, מה ידעתם את לבן בן נחור? ויאמר ידענו. Do you know Mr. לבן? אמרו לו, oh yeah, we do know. Oh, we do know. ויאמר להם, השלום לא? ויאמרו שלום, והנה רחל ביתו באה עם הצאן. How is he doing? He's fine. If you have more questions, if you want to dig, all the hack, here is his daughter Rachel. You can talk to her direct. We don't talk too much. אומרת התורה, פסוק ט' עודנו מדבר עמם ורחל באה עם הצאן אשר לאביה כרועה היא. והיא כאשר ראה יעקב את רחל בת לבן אחי אמו ואת צאן לבן אחי אמו. ויגש יעקב ויגל את האבן מעל פי הבאר וישק את צאן לבן אחי אמו. The Torah is telling us, יעקב אבינו saw Rachel, and he sees the son. What Yaakov Avinu do from this second and on, we find Yaakov Avinu was a shepherd. From the second he met his wife, his future wife, we see Yaakov Avinu, all he's doing his entire life, he is dealing with the son. We see him here. We see him 7 years he worked for his father-in-law Lavan, for Rachel. And then another 7 years for Rachel again. And then another 6 years. And then he goes back to Eretz Israel. And then we see the Shevatim or Etzon. And later on when Yaakov Avinu is 130 years old and he comes down to Mitzrayim, Paro. Mama Asechem, he asks the Shevatim, what's your job? And they all tell him, Ro'etzon. Yaakov Avinu, from the day he comes to meet his future wife, he is Ro'etzon. What is it that the Avot, they always he's busy with being a shepherd. Go up in yeshiva and give classes. Go give some Torah. What are you doing out there with the shepherds? Big things was written on this topic. But I want to take one small piece, which Be'ezat Hashem we're going to learn throughout the Parashiot. This tone that Yaakov Avinu is dealing, Hazal HaKadoshim tell us, Elayu the Gilgulim of Am Yisrael throughout the generations. So Yaakov Avinu is not dealing only with a simple goat. He is dealing with the neshamot of Am Yisrael. Meaning Yaakov Avinu is taking care of his future children throughout the history. Shama nimtzaot neshamot, and that's why Yaakov Avinu, he's always busy with the shepherd. He's always busy with the tzon, with the flock. Why? He is dealing with his future children, Be'ezat Hashem. That's what we see here. But not only his Shevatim, but we're talking about Am Yisrael. In any event, אומרת התורה, וישק יעקב לרחל, וישא את קולו ויבך. Such a pasuk. People who have no Torah, people who never taste Torah, people who never saw the light of Torah, when they read such a pasuk, it's a shame the way they read this pasuk. It seems like a love story. He met the girl somewhere on the beach, he sees her, he hugs her, he gives her a kiss. But the Torah tells us, Vayishak Yaakov leRachel, he kissed her, we have no idea what's behind. But we do know, Yaakov Avinu cried. And I saw a beautiful pshat from the Kotzker Rebbe, and he says, why did Yaakov Avinu cry? And he says the following words. He says, Hashash me'od milimud pasuk zeh. Yaakov Avinu was worried how people will read this pasuk. They're going to read this pasuk incorrect. And that's why Bayev, hu bacha, lama hu bacha? Al limud mut'eh shel pasuk kadosh. Do you know why Yaakov Avinu cried? He cried because people amei aratzot, people that have no Torah, when they're going to read this pasuk, oh, Yaakov Avinu kissed his girlfriend, we could do the same thing. Va'azeh Yaakov Avinu bacha, hu nishek et Rachel. We have no idea what happened in that kiss. But one thing we do know, that Yaakov Avinu bacha, כי הוא ידע people they're going to learn this pasuk incorrect. The way they're going to learn the pasuk, oh, you could kiss, v'chas v'shalom. I heard many years ago, I don't remember the makor, I don't know ma makor, but I once heard from a Talmid Chacham, he quotes, what I remember from the Hidah, I checked, I never saw from the Hidah, but I heard from a Talmid Chacham that he says that this nishika hayta nishika tefillin. The same way before you put the tefillin, you kiss the tefillin, Rachel imenu, היה לה קדושת תפילין. And when he kissed Rachel, הוא נשק תפילין. It's not about love the way we read. Has v'shalom. And that's why Hazal tell us, if you read Rashi, אומר Rashi, why did Yaakov Avinu cry? לפי שצפה ברוח הקודש, שאינה נכנסה עמו לקבורה. Yaakov Avinu ראה ברוח הקודש that she is not going to be buried with him. And the obvious questions that they come up. If you kiss a lady now, how can you get ruach hakodesh? If you do avera, how in the world can you have ruach hakodesh? So the answer is, when you kiss Sefer Torah, when you kiss Davar Kadosh, it's a whole different ball game. So Hazal tell us, you know what happened here? Yaakov Avinu ra'a beruach hakodesh. Ech hu ra'a? Because he kissed Rachel. Yaakov Avinu had no yetzer hara whatsoever. He had zero ta'avot, he had no ta'avot, no desire, nothing. Reuven, Amar Yaakov, kochi vereshit oni. You are the first drop that came from my body, the first one. 84 years. Lo haya. Yaakov Avinu is the only one. The only one, 84 years, Kodesh Kodashim, and he's the one, when he kissed Rachel, boom, he says Ruach HaKodesh, meaning the whole parasha here, the Kadosh, it's holy but we don't understand. So we are just tapping a little bit over here. So, as דבר אחד אנחנו רואים, יעקב אבינו מנשק ובוכה, because he knows people that are going to read this pasuk incorrect. Second, we see he says Beruach HaKodesh. How? Because he kissed Rachel. Obviously, there's a lot of ta'ava whatsoever. 3, and Yaakov Avinu, he cries, why? She'ena nichnesa imo lekvura, that she's not going to be buried with him. Imagine, you go on a date, first date, and you meet your, the girl, and after 2 minutes, you start crying, you're crying. And she tells you, Moshe, what happened? Why are you crying? Sarah, I'm crying, you know why? Because we're not going to be buried together. Are you Majnun? I'm talking about getting married and go out and have a nice time. You're telling me that you see my death already, and you see the cemetery, and you see already we're not going to get buried. Are you out of your mind? מה יעקב אבינו רואה פה? יעקב, דבר איתה about, we're going to go out, we're going to, give her some dreams, tell her about how we're going to have a nice marriage, we're going to go, we're going to have kids, we're going to have a nice Shabbat, we're going to have guests. What are you telling Yaakov? What exactly is in Yaakov's mind? I see in Ruach HaKodesh that we're not going to be buried together. Obviously, we see from here that this has nothing to do with any ta'avot. And more than that, Omer Rabbi Yonatan Admoni, Omer, Yaakov Avinu, that his mind was so pure, at that time, he reminded himself, Yom HaMitah, the day of the death. Meaning, Hu maskir le'atzmo, he reminded himself, the day that a person leaves the world. Meaning, when Yaakov goes to get married, has zero ta'avot, nothing. He sees the last day of his life. Meaning, how can I go ahead and get married? Do you know how a person can work for 7 years for his father-in-law, and then he cheats on him, and then he lies to him, And then his own wife, Leah, she fools him also. And Rachel does whatever we're going to say, that, she did not want to embarrass her sister. At the end of the day, 3 people cheated on him. How can you leave such a life and continue loving them and work with so honestly to your father-in-law? How in the world? This is the answer. Yaakov Avinu, he sees the future. What's the final day in this world? Nothing moves him. And he goes straight to his marriage. איך הוא זוכר את יום המיטה? כשאדם זוכר את יום המיטה, when you know that the world here, it's not the ikar, the opposite. We take advantage of this world to get better and better. All the small things has no value. You don't fight, you don't curse, you don't get angry, you just move on. Everything is okay, just continue. Akol tov, just continue. Do you know how can you continue? This is the answer. Yaakov Avinu yodea tamid. What's the final day? Ma yom hamita. The mashma'ut of life is not here. So that's why people, we don't fight over nonsense. You give in, it's okay. That's nekuda rishona we learn from Yaakov Avinu when he meets his future wife. But then Rashi brings another pshat why he cried. Omer Rashi, lefi sheba biyadayim rekaniyot. Yaakov Avinu, he came with an empty hands, and that's why he cried. Why? Amar Yaakov said, Eliezer Ebed Avi Abba, the slave of my grandfather, Avraham Avinu. Hayu biyadav nezamim utzmidim umigdonot. My grandfather's slave, he came with jewelry, with fruits. He came with so much gifts to bring Rivka. Ve'ani en biyadi klum. I have nothing in my hands. And why? Why? You go to meet a girl and you bring nothing? No, has v'shalom. Yaakov Avinu went with jewelry, with gifts, bevadai to bring his future wife. אבל לפי שרדף אליפז בן עשיו במצוות אביו אחריו להורגו. Since Eliphaz, he ran after Yaakov Avinu because Esav, his father, told him, go kill Uncle Yaakov. And when he came to his uncle, Amar Eliphaz to Yaakov, Uncle Yaakov, my father says to me, go, that I should kill you. Amar Yaakov, listen, take whatever I have, I'll become ani, I'll become a poor person. Ve'ani hashuv kemet. If you have no money, you consider it, as a dead person. Tell Abba, Uncle Yaakov is dead. He took all his money away. Just a side point. Arav Alav Shalom, he says from here, you see, if you don't have a gift to give to your kala, tears are considered matanot. When you don't have a gift, jewelry to give to your kala, we see Ma'asa Yaakov, he cried. Meaning, instead of jewelry, how could I extend the jewelry with something else? With tears. Meaning, dma'ot hem gam ken matanot. When you don't have, not when you have and you cry. When you have and you cry, you don't give, you're stingy. But when you don't have and you cry, Omer Arav, we see from here, shedma'ot ze matana. In any event, tzarich להבין, Yaakov Avinu, do you cry because you don't have gift to give to your future wife? So why do you cry? Maybe take her to the side and explain her. I want you to know, I want to tell you a story. Yeah, what's the story? I want you to know, I came with so many jewelry and dresses and shoes and forget it. What can I do? Somebody came to me and he almost killed me. So I gave everything. but you should know I wanted to give you something. It doesn't say that he told her that. It says here, he cried. The Torah does not tell us that Yaakov told her what happened, but it says that he cried. And I want to ask Yaakov, once we know who is Rachel, after a couple Pesukim, we learn about her greatness. Do you think she minds? Do you really think that Rachel cares about jewelry? We're talking about Rachel Imenu. Do you think a little rock over here that has a little spark is going to change her life? Ma pitom. Then why do you cry? If you tell me because it's going to hurt her feelings, meaning she feels like she's a nobody, maybe. But we're talking about Rachel Imenu. What makes Yaakov Avinu think that, wow, it's so bad, I have nothing what to give Rachel? And he starts to cry. I never heard in my life Hatan that has no money to give his kala, he starts to cry. This is the first Hatan that I ever met. The Hatan, at this time he was 77. But this Hatan, when you're 70, you cry? So beside the fact that Yaakov Avinu Omer שהוא בכה על רחל, that she's not going to be buried with him, but he cried that he has no jewelry. And why is it? Aboisai, let's go a minute to Parashat Hayesara. We're going to see something beautiful. Katuv, it says in Parashat Hayesara, Perek Chavdalid, when Eliezer, Eved Avraham, he gives Rivka the jewelry, Perek Chavdaled, Pasuk Chavbet. ויקרא אשר קילו הגמלים לשתות, after the camels finished drink. ויקרא האיש נזם זהב בקע משקלו ושני צמידים על ידיה, 10 זהב משקלם. It says that Eliezer brought a nose ring and also bracelets, and it says how much each one was, weight. You look at Rashi, and Rashi explained, why did he give Beka, Beka means it's a half a coin. It's a mahazit shekel. Why it says Beka, which means mahazit shekel? Wow, there's a secret into it. What's the secret? Remez leshikle Israel. In that mahazit shekel, in that Beka, which is Mahatzita shekel, it's half a coin, that he gave her, it means he was hinting that Am Yisrael in the future, they're going to build Bet HaMikdash and they're going to bring to the Bet HaMikdash, they're going to bring each one Mahatzita shekel. Wow, okay. Next. Ushne tzimidim. Why did Eliezer give her two tzmidim? Bracelets. Why? Remez leshne luchot habrit. Wow. Those two equals to what? To the luchot habrit. Next. 10 zahav mishkalam. It weighed kama? 10 zahav. The mishkal, how much the bracelet weighed? אז כתוב פה 10 זהב. Why 10 זהב? רמז ל10 הדיברות. Whoa. Wait, so the tzimidim and the weight and the look, everything has to do with what? With something that has to do with the future of Am Yisrael, and it has to do with Bet HaMikdash, and has to do with Torah. Meaning Eliezer is not giving Rivka just a jewelry. Here's a jewelry to make her feel good. No. Eliezer is giving Rivka jewelry, and he's hinting here that with this jewelry something is going to impact Am Yisrael in the future. Meaning when the Imahot got jewelry, it wasn't just standard jewelry. The Torah, 10 Dibrot, Luchot HaBerit, Mahatzit HaShekel are involved in this jewelry. Yaakov Avinu is there. And he said to himself, Eliezer, the slave of my grandfather, gave Rivka jewelry. That jewelry had an impact on Am Yisrael, on their Torah. Imagine if I had jewelry here. Imagine if I had jewelry in my hand and I would give it to Rachel. Can you imagine what type of Torah my children will have? Torah tziva lanu Moshe morasha קהילת Yaakov. Yaakov ishtam yoshev ohalim. If I would have jewelry and I would give my wife Rachel, you can imagine what type of Torah my children will have. And because I don't have that jewelry, my kid's gonna lack something from Torah. And that's why Yaakov Avinu is crying. He's just not crying because I don't have jewelry to give, but he's crying if I had a jewelry. You can imagine what impact I would have had on Am Yisrael. And that's why he's crying. And by the way, we should teach our children and our daughters, when you give your wife a jewelry, how big is the diamond? I'm not going to go into the amount. But you have to know, when you give, number one, you have to give from the heart. Not because what the neighbor is going to say in France. That's number one. But there is message in that jewelry. When you give a wife jewelry, when you give to the kala jewelry, there is something behind. What is it? Torah. Omeret Gemara. You know how many jewelries you have to give a kala? 24. Why 24? כנגד כ"ד אותיות של התורה, כ"ד ספרים של התורה. How many books we have in the Tanakh? 24. 24. How many היום? How much זה קראט היום? כמה זה היום? 24? Huh? 24? קראט. Yeah, 24? How much is it? בקיצור, I think today we cover the amount. Okay, we're good. In any event, so when you give, it has to be something that has to do Torah involved. And that's why they give the Hatan a watch. Do you know why we give a Hatan a watch? The Kala is giving the Hatan a watch. You know why? To tell him, don't do Bitul Torah. Here is your watch. Wake up on time. Go to learn on time. Pray on time. And come back on time. Don't waste your life. That's why the Hatan gets a watch and she gets a jewelry. The jewelry is like, it's like Rivka Imenu. And the watch that the Hatan gets, the message is here, have value to your time. Don't waste your time. That's why we do that. The last time we're just doing. Everything has something deep behind. Akopanim, so Yaakov Avinu boche. So we learn two perushim. One perush because it has to do with Rachel Imenu, that she's not going to be buried with him. And the second has to do that he has no jewelry. But the jewelry, what's behind it? I'm lacking some Torah from my children. But be'emet, Yaakov was not lacking any Torah. You know why? Because Yaakov himself, who haya Torah. Yaakov himself, he himself is a Torah. He did not lack anything from his children. Yaakov was humble. אבל באמת, המציאות של יעקב הוא היה כולו תורה. That's why, even without jewelry, he had an impact on Israel. And by the way, it says that Yaakov Avinu, he cried because Rachel, she was not buried with him. And that's why he cried, correct? מאוד מעניין. If you look later on, in Pasuk Yud Zayin, ועיני לערקות, ורחל הייתה יפת תואר ולפת מראה. Why it says הייתה in the past tense? ועיני לערקות. לא כתוב, it doesn't say היו רכות. It says the eyes of the other were soft. But when it comes to Rachel, it says ורחל הייתה יפה התואר ויפת מראה. Why the Torah talks about her beauty in the past tense? למה הייתה? And the answer is, she was beautiful in the past tense because now she's crying. That's why it doesn't say ורחל היא יפת תואר ויפת מראה, כי עכשיו בוכה. So it's amazing. Yaakov Avinu is crying in the beginning, and after Yaakov Avinu is crying, Rachel is crying till today. נמשיך הלאה. The Torah says to us that יעקב אבינו, ויגד יעקב לרחל כי אחי אביה הוא וכי בן רבקה הוא, אתה רוצה ותגד לאביה. So he tells her that we're cousins. ויהי כשמוע לבן את שמע יעקב בן אחותו. So Rachel ran to her father. How come Rachel did not run to her mother? Because her mother passed away. Rachel was an orphan. And by the way, Rachel's mother her name is Adina. Adina, that's her name. So she passed away, she had no mother. So she ran to her father. And she tells her father, Dad, wow, my cousin is here. Yaakov is here. Ma'os Lavan, he ran to him. So, ויחבק לו, וינשק לו, ויביאהו אל ביתו, ויספר ללבן את כל הדברים האלה. What happened here? The Torah is telling us, Yaakov told Lavan, listen, you know what happened to me? Amona, what happened to you? He tells him, I have a twin brother. Oh, that sounds great. And he tells him, you know, when I was 15 years old, I did something and I got the Bechorah away from my brother. How? He asked him. I gave him a lentil soup, and before that I made sure to give him some bread so he's not going to change his mind. Boom, I get it out. Oh, I like it. Oh, I like this. Okay, what else? And then he tells me, you know, when I was 63, I took my brother's jacket and I did something and I got the barachot from my father and I scammed him. Oh, Omer Lavan, I like it very much. ויאמר לו לבן, אך עצמי ובשרי אתה. Such a people, I like it in my house. I like it very much. Lavan tells Yaakov, I love people like you. He sees how he's a big scam and how he knows he's a sneaky person, he's not honest. Lavan tells him, come, Faddal, I like you. People like you, they know how to lie. They walk up to my house. But he tells him, ויאמר לבן ליעקב, אחי אתה, ועבדתני חינם, הגידה לי מה משכורתך. Why Lavan is asking Yaakov, can you please tell me how much you want to get paid? Why? And the answer is very simple. Lavan says to him, he said to himself, if he knew how to get his brother, whoa, what he's waiting to do to me. I'm afraid. So tell me now, right away, what do you want? Why? Because he was afraid that the same way he did to his brother, he was going to do something to him. Amala, אחי אתה. There is no way you're going to work for me for free. Meaning, you're planning to do something to me. So please, tell me now, what do you want? הגידה לי מה משכורתך. והתורה אומרת, וללבן שתי בנות, שמה גדולה לאה ושמה קטנה רחל. ויאהב יעקב את רחל ויאמר אעבדך 7 שנים ברחל ביתך הקטנה. He tells him, listen, I'll work for you for 7 years and I want to get married to Rachel. And then the Torah tells us, ויאמר לבן טוב תיתי אותה לך מתיתי אותה לאיש אחר שבה עמדי. He tells him, I rather give her to you than give her to somebody else. So stay with me. אומר האור החיים הקדוש, what does it mean that Lavan tells him, I rather you take her. טוב תיתי אותה לך, מתיתי אותה לאיש אחר. אומר האור החיים הקדוש, he was a lawyer. He lied to Yaakov. Listen, I want you to know, I have somebody that is willing to work for me for 7 years. I have somebody already. But I'd rather give it to you than him. Watch this. טוב תיתי אותה לך, I'd rather give her to you, מתיתי אותה לאיש אחר. Meaning I have somebody else that is willing to work for me for 7 years, but I'd rather you than somebody else. That's how the Or HaChaim learns. But I saw a beautiful pshat. In addition to this, Why Lavan tells Yaakov, I rather you married Rachel? He says כך. Omer Lavan, I know that you, Yaakov, you're tzaddik. And my daughter Rachel is a tzaddiket. If I'm going to tell you no, do you know what's going to happen? She's going to end up marrying somebody else. She's going to turn him to tzaddik. And you, if I'm not going to give you Rachel, somehow you're going to end up marrying somebody else, and you're going to make sure that she's a tzaddiket. If not, you make her tzaddiket. What's going to happen then? I don't like tzaddikim in the world. I don't want tzaddikim. I rather 2 tzaddikim in the world than 4. Because if it's only you and Rachel, we're going to have only 2 tzaddikim in the world. It's enough for me. But if I'm going to say no to you, what's going to happen? You're going to marry somebody else. My daughter Rachel is going to marry somebody else. And instead of 2 tzaddikim, how many tzaddikim we're going to have? 4. I don't want it. I rather you guys together, but we have less good people in the world. That's what it says. Tov titi ota lach, mititi ota li'ish acher. Hatov hazeh, I rather it should be only two good people in the world than becoming a lot of good people in the world. זה היה לבן הרשע. על כל פנים אומרת התורה. What happened? דבר עצום. אומרת התורה, יעקב אבינו, after 7 years, he comes to Lavan and tells him, Hava et ishti, bring me my wife. כי מלאו ימי ואבואה אליה. I want my wife. Time is up. ואבואה אליה. I want to go to her. Hazal tell us how in the world Yaakov Avinu could talk like this. Would you go to your future father-in-law and tell him, Habibi, time is up. Give me your daughter. ואבואה אליה. איך שלך ככה לדבר בכלל? A low life doesn't talk this way. How can Yaakov ככה מדבר? אלא מה? This type of language, it's either malach or behema. It's either you're an angel or you're an animal. To talk, give me my wife because time is up. Ve'avoa eleha. It's not a clean language. Who could talk like this? Either an animal or malach, an angel. And we know for sure Yaakov Avinu is an angel. So how come it did say this type of words? So I saw a couple of perushim. One is Yaakov Avinu, he was in heaven. Why Katosh? For him to bring some Yetzer Hara to himself, he has to say something just to get the ta'ava on, because he had no ta'ava. And where do we find this concept? If we'll go a minute to Parashat Vayeshev. Parashat Vayeshev כתוב שמה, חברים יקרים, let's go to Parashat Vayeshev. Parashat Vayeshev, it says there, בפרק ל"ט, פרק ל"ט, it says when Yosef, he was a slave by Mr. Potiphar, פרק ל"ט, pasuk Yud. So Eshet Potiphar tells Yosef, ויהי כדברה אל יוסף יום יום ולא שמע אליה לשכב אצלה להיות עימם. Every day she would come, she would brainwash him, and she would tell him to do the sin with her. And he did not listen. Then it says, ויהי כהיום הזה was one day, היה היום party. ויבוא הביתה לעשות מלאכתו, he came home, he went to his office to do his job. ואין איש מאנשי הבית, שם הבית was nobody at home. ותתפסהו בבגדו. She went to him and she held his jacket. לאמור שכבה עמי. ויעזוב בגדו בידיו וינוס ויצא החוצה. She told him, שכבה עמי, sleep with me. What he did, he left the jacket and he ran away. I saw a beautiful kushiyah. It says here, ותתפסהו בבגדו, לאמור שכבה עמי. What does it mean, the word לאמור שכבה עמי? Jackie, do you hear? Marco Scaba, איפה אתה שם? Marco, I don't see you, Marco. It says here, ותתפסהו בבגדו, she held his jacket, lemor shichva imi. מה זה lemor shichva imi? Hazal HaKadoshim tell us, she knew after 1 year that she was trying to convince him to do the sin, Yosef is not listening to her. He's not listening. And he is stubborn. And he's not bending an inch. Do you know what she told him? Yosef, you know what? Do me a favor. You know what? You don't want to do? Fine. Lemor, just say the words, Shichva imi. Just say the words, sleep with me. That's it. She knew the power of mouth, of words. She knew that if Yosef is going to say, Shichva imi, that's how she is going to get him. By just talking, by just saying such a dirty word, sleep with me, boom, yes, rara, yes, lo achiza, he has we to hold, and that's how she's going to grab him, and she's going to make him, at the end, he's going to make a sin with her. Meaning, she knew how to get Yosef. There is one way. If a person says no, 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 one thing, let him say a dirty word, and that's how Yitzhak gets to you. People don't understand. Brit hapeh shayach lebrit milah. It goes together. You should know a secret. If a person has a dirty words, we know that this person has a sin bebrit milah shelo. הוא לא קדוש, הוא טמא. Why? כי ברית הלשון is connected straight to ברית המילה. So how was she able to get to him? She tried, and she tells him, Lemor, say, Shichva imi. By him saying Shichva imi, that's how she's going to get him. But Yosef was much better than her. Instead of talking, he dropped the jacket and he ran away. Going back to Yaakov Avinu. יעקב, חברים הקדושים, יעקב בחיר שבאבות, היה כולו קודש קודשים. הוא מלאך, he has no יצר הרע. מה אמר? ואבוא אליה. So, שיהיה לו קצת יצר הרע, משהו, because he has no יצר הרע. אבל חברים, אם this יצר הרע, חס ושלום להגיד יצר הרע, but in those words, if you look inside the words, an amazing words. תראו מה כתוב פה, בואו נראה מה כתוב. מה כתוב? ואבוא אליה. If you see the word אליה, זה אותיות אל יה. Give me my wife. You know why? Because I want to get closer to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. ואבוא אל יה. If I'm going to get married to Rachel Imenu, the Shekhinah that I'm going to have in this house, like nothing before. So Yaakov Avinu, that he sees angels in the Nevuah, and he has angels who walks with him, he knows one thing. If I'll marry Rachel Imenu, this holy lady, what's going to happen? Shekhinah is going to dwell with me non-stop. So he tells Lavan, give me my wife. Why? Ki maleu yamai. Time is up. Ve'avo el ya. It's time for me to get closer to the Shekhinah, to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Meaning, marriage, when a person is married, when a person has a wife, Shekhinah dwells in your house. You have Shekhinah, you have Kedusha, you're in a different place, you're complete. לכן הוא אומר, ואבוא אליה אל יה. נמשיך הלאה. And רבותיי, now we're getting serious. רבותיי, I'm gonna talk about the topic, which is not so simple. We are all in the same boat. But I think there is something for the woman tonight, and also for the man. So if you guys hear me, we're going to talk something that we all have this challenge, but in the Torah's aspect, the Torah looks at this a little different. And I'm talking when we have problems in marriage. Not that we have, but there is challenges sometimes in life. And how should we deal with this? How you deal when you have a challenge? You get upset, you get angry, you walk away, you leave the house, you go to a rabbinical court. What do you do? What do you do? We're going to learn something powerful from Yaakov Avinu, and at the end we see that how HaKadosh Baruch Hu is running the world. It says in the Torah, ויאסוף לבן את כל אנשי המקום ויעש משתה, ויהי בערב ויקח את לאה ביתו ויבא אותה אליו ויבוא אליה. ויהי בערב, Yaakov Avinu married his wife on Friday night. You know Yaakov Avinu was Shomer Shabbat, so he had no lights, only little candles. And that's how he brought the Kala, Leah to the Chuppah. Yaakov Avinu, he thinks it's Rachel. They were twins, and they had the same voice. They look alike. So he asked Leah, which he thinks it's Rachel, the Simanim. She tells him, she tells him the Simanim. And Lavan married his wife, Leah. אומרת התורה, פסוק כ"ה, ויהי בבוקר והנה היא לאה. ויאמר אל לבן, מה זאת עשית לי? Here, it doesn't say all the story. If you open Midrash Tanhuma, תשמעו מה כתוב. ויהי בבוקר, he gets up in the morning, and Yaakov, he wakes up to the nets. He wakes up, he wants to pray Shaharit, and then it says, Vayomer el Lavan. But hold on. If you know that the girl, she's not your wife, who would you go first? To her or to the father? Most likely, you're going to go to her, to the Kala. But the Torah says he went to Lavan. But the Midrash says something happened between when he got up in the morning and he talked to Lavan. Something happened in between. There's a little gap that in the Pasuk it doesn't mention. But Hazal tell us what happened there. Omer Midrash, Kol halayla azta atzma kerachel. All the night she played like if she is Rachel. Kivan she'amad baboker. When he got early in the morning, v'hineh hi Leah. Yaakov Avinu, he saw Leah. Amar la, bat haramai, ramait bat ramai, shakranit bat shakran. You are a liar and your father is a liar. Lama rimit oti. Why did you fool me? Why did you fool me? You not Rachel. I worked for your father 7 years to get you Rachel, not you. Why did you lie to me? Why did you fool me? Do you know what she told him? She told him, well, every rabbi has a student. Every rabbi has a student. Ata, Yaakov, didn't you lie to your father? When you came to your father and your father asked you, Mi ata? You said, Anochi asa bechorecha. Oh, didn't you lie? Well, I learned from you. I learned from you to lie. The same way you fooled your father, I fooled you. Rabotai, Leah tells Yaakov, Tochecha. She gives him rebuke. She tells him, every rabbi has a student. You are my rabbi. You are my role model. I learned from you. If you could lie, I could lie also. Before I'll continue the Midrash, I just want to explain this piece. It's not simple. It's not simple. I need to explain this piece. There's no way we can continue to, there is no way we can go to Shabbat without knowing this Midrash clear. The Pshat is kach. She told, Leah tells Yaakov, why did you lie to your father? Why? The answer is, mitzvat kibud em. Because your mother told you, ach beni shema bekoli. You cannot say no to your mother, correct? So I had the same question. I had the same problem. I did not want to lie to you. The same way you did not want to lie to your father. But because your mother told you to do so, you lied. So she tells him, I got psak halacha from you. If I don't want to lie, but my father tells me to do so, what should I do? I don't know what to do. I open Shulchan Aruch. Who's my rabbi? You. The same way you lied to your father because mitzvat kibud em, the same psak halacha I did also. I didn't want to lie to you, but I had no choice. My father told me, so I had to listen to him. It's amazing midrash. It's amazing. אבל על כל פנים, in any event, it says in the midrash, ומתוך הדברים הללו שהוכיחה אותו, from the words that she told him, אתה שיקרת את אביך, you lied to your father. רבותיי, I gotta be very careful. But I'm reading the midrash and I'll try to explain it. התחיל שונאה. Yaakov Avinu did not like Leah. Yaakov Avinu did not like her. What I mean, he did not like her, I don't mean he hated her, because על פי ההלכה, אסור לשנוא, לא תשנא את אחיך בלבביך, you cannot hate, especially, we're talking about Yaakov Avinu. But when it means שונאה, he didn't like her, it means compare to Rachel, he loved Rachel more than every husband. An average husband, how much he likes his wife, Yaakov's love to Rachel was above every normal husband. But to Leah, it was regular. He liked her, but not like Rachel. So compared to Rachel, the Torah calls it Sone'ah. Rabbi Yisai, imagine you live with a wife, and the wife lives with the husband that she knows he doesn't like her. He doesn't like her. How many couples, a wife, you could ask the wife, do you think your husband likes you? Sometimes. And do you think, and how would you describe your first years of marriage and your 5 years after and 10 years after and 15 and 20? Well, the first years was beautiful year, and second also, but once the kids came, we don't spend time, he doesn't like me, I don't know, I gain weight, and then who knows what, and it's not the same. Forget it, 20 years after, I feel miserable. Rabbi Yisai, I want to take that wife, I want to take this couple, allowed me to take you to the Parashat HaShavua, and look what happened in such a marriage. I want to focus a minute on Leah's feelings, and I want to go after to Yaakov, and after we're going to talk about both together. It's like a session in marriage now. You ready? Yeah, like, Haverim, are you guys ready? Yeah, let's go on a journey together. Omeret HaTorah, Pasuk Lamed Aleph, וירא אדוני כי שנואה לאה ויפתח את רחמה. Meaning, because she feels Yaakov Avinu doesn't like her, guess what? When you feel that people don't like you, they make fun of you, they're not nice to you, what happens? You get gifts. ויפתח et Rahma. Meaning, Leah was supposed to be barren, like Sarai Menu, like Rivka, like Rachel. Leah was supposed to be barren. But since she was Senuah, Yaakov Avinu did not like her, Omeret Torah, no problem. I will give you a child, not Rachel. She gets a baby. You can imagine, wow, she's so happy. I got a baby right away. Oh my gosh, she gives birth. ותהר לאה ותלד בן ותקרא את שמו ראובן. Okay, עושים ברית מילה. Mom, by the way, We don't see Yaakov gives the names, we see the wives give the name. It's for us a lesson, okay? The one who gives the name is not the man, it's the wife. So we have to know this piece also. Some people, we're the man, it's our minhag, our custom, they're gonna put a whole fight. Relax. Yaakov Avinu tells all his wives, you pick the name, but there is nothing but to fight all about it. There is no reason to fight and to make a whole to-do about the names. Al kol panim, מה כתוב פה? ותהר לאה, and she named her son Reuven. Mama Leah, why do you call your son Reuven? I have a big reason. What's the reason? כי ראה אדוני בעוניי כי עתה יאהבני אישי. Rabbi Yisai, which baby you name him after your marriage that you have with your husband? Leah, what are you doing? Reuven, Mom, why did you call me Reuven? Your father and I, we don't have a good marriage. And I prayed to Hashem, please, maybe this baby is going to bring some love towards us. She calls her son, Reuven, Ra'ah Hashem ba'onis, that so my husband should love me. Not enough. Vatahar od, she gets pregnant again. And Vatelet Ben, it's a baby boy. For those who want only boys, not girls. For those who like only boys, so she gets a boy. Right? Okay. So she gets another baby boy. Vatomer, what's his name? Shimon. Why? כי שמע השם כי שנואה אנוכי, יא ריבונו של העולם. Mama Leah, what are you doing to the child? You're abusing the kid. Mom, what's my name? Your name is Shimon. Why? Hashem heard that I was Senuah. Yaakov, my husband did not like me. He hated me. And it was Senuah. So your name is Shimon. Hashem is Shmo. Mom, what are you doing? All right. Batar od. Batelet ben. Batomer apam yilave ishi elai. Levi. Why Levi? You know why? I'll tell you why. When you have one kid, so the mother carries the baby. When you have two kids, she has two hands, you carry two babies. When you have three, honey, husband, you have to come take the third baby. So now, he has no choice. He's going to have to walk with me to the car, to the doctor, to the shul, to the wedding. So now at least my husband is going to spend time with me. That's why she names him Levi. Hapam yilave ishi elai. My husband is going to walk with me. We're going to spend time together. Rabbi Yisai, 3 kids. It's about her marriage. Leah, what are you doing? What are you doing? Reuven, Shimon, Levi. You're saying that your marriage is a whole mess. 4th child. בתר עוד נטלת בן, ותאמר הפעם אודה את אדוני, על כן קראה שמו יהודה, ותעמוד מלדת. רבי ישי, כתוב פה, it says here a powerful message, and I'm talking now to the ladies. I'll talk about the men in a minute. The first 3 kids, she talks about her past. The first 3 kids, she talks about her relationship with the husband. She cries. She is not in a good place. And she's trying to do anything to please her husband, to make him, love her. And she tries every tactic just to get him to love her. It doesn't seem it works. After 3 kids, she drops. And she says, my connection is only with whom? HaKadosh Baruch Hu. She stopped complaining about the husband. She stopped complaining about her marriage. She stopped. Now, Hashem, thank you. Odet Hashem. Mama Leah, how is life? Sweet. How is everything? Great. What's going on? Mejannin. How is the kids? Havar al Asman. The best place in the world. After 3 kids, she drops her problems and she starts to deal straight with the Kadosh Baruch Hu. Rabbi Yisai, and I want to talk to the ladies. When you have problems in marriage, stop fighting with the walls. Stop. You're not going to change. Deal with HaKadosh Baruch Hu straight. Because if you're gonna think, let me do something, men, they don't get it. Men don't get it. They think, oh wow, stop pushing me. Leah tried 3 kids and it didn't work. She dropped. And look what happened after. Hashem gives her the 4th son. And now she says to Hashem, Ribono shel Olam, you know what? I have nothing more to do with the past. Let me look forward to La'atid. And she names her 4th child Yehuda. Do you know what happened that second? Am Israel is called Yehudim. We call Jews after Yehuda. Why Yehuda? To learn a message. Stop complaining. Stop crying about the past. Take your whole package and tell Hashem, thank you. Hashem, I thank you for everything I have. And look what happened. If that's how the mother acts, if that's how the wife acts, do you know what happens? She gets the best human being in the world. The best one. Melech HaMashiach comes from who? From Yehuda, which comes from Leah. Why is it? I'll tell you why. Melech, a king is a person that he has nothing what to do with people. The only connection he has is the Kadosh Baruch Hu. He doesn't need anybody. He doesn't have to kiss up to anybody. Like Kadosh Baruch Hu. From David HaMelech down the history till today, Melech is someone that is connected to only Kadosh Baruch Hu. Watch this. When a wife has a problem and she starts to fight it, you're not going to win. So what's the best thing to do? Drop. Deal with the Kadosh Baruch Hu straight. And be happy. And be positive. And guess what? That type of connection, what you're doing, you're creating kids, healthy kids. You're creating a healthy home, healthy family. But wait a minute. You're going to get children that their bond with HaKadosh Baruch Hu, no one in the world will break it. She was fortunate that Malchut, Bet David, V'Mlachim, V'Mashiach, they're coming from her. Which one? From Shevet Yehuda. That's whom? That's Leah Imenu. Rabbi Say, the Torah is telling us Davar Gadol Meod. Before I continue about Yaakov, I want to take another one piece. Haverim Mekarim, please, let's go to the Humash, to the Psukim for 1 second. We're going to see something in Perek Lamed. Vatera Rachel ki lo yeleda liYaakov. Rachel sees she has no kids. Vatekane Rachel be'achota. She was very jealous. ותאמר אל יעקב הבה לי בנים ואם אין מתה אנוכי. She tells Yaakov, give me children, if not I'm dying. ויחר אף יעקב ברחל. And Yaakov gets very upset. Rabbi Say, why is Rachel gets Yaakov upset? Why? Do you know why? She saw that when my sister Leah is Senuah, Yaakov doesn't like her, what happens? She gets children. You know what? Let me do the same thing. Let me go into a fight with my husband. I'm going to get him angry on me. We're going to go into a fight. I'll be quiet. And Hashem is going to give me children. You hear that? Vatekane Rachel be'achota. She saw what happened to her sister. Because Yaakov Avinu does not like her so much, Hashem gave her 4 kids. And look at me. I live with my husband. Like the best couple in the world. You look at them. Wow, it's the best couple. But I don't have kids. My sister got kids because of Sheta Senuah. Yaakov didn't like her. Ma'osai Rachel, you know what she does? She goes, she gets Yaakov angry. Yaakov, I get you angry now. Ma'osai, give me kids. If not, I'm dying. I can't do that anymore. What happens? What happened right after? What happens right after? We see later on, she got Yosef. Meaning, do you know why Rachel Imenu gets Yaakov angry? Vatekane be'achotah. She saw that her sister, she doesn't have a good marriage. She does not have a good marriage. But Hashem gave her 4 kids. And I have a great marriage, but I have no kid. And by the way, the Malbim explains an amazing shot. He says sometimes when there is such a love between couple, they have no kids. You hear that? Malbim Kotev. Sometimes when there is such a love, strong love between a couple, they have no kids. So Ma'asar Rachel, let me break this love. Let me bring some fights. And that fight is going to bring kids. That's exactly what she does. She saw her sister, that's why she did this. We saw Leah's feelings. But I want to go for 1 second to Yaakov. I saw this pshat, and that's why I'm saying I would never able to say this pshat, but I think even that sefer, I think it's called Otzar. I think Anshe Shem. I saw this pshat, and it brings down, and maybe because Yaakov Avinu, he caused pain to Leah. He wasn't sensitive to his wife. That's why he suffered for 22 years. 22 shana that he suffered, that he did not see Yosef. He says, "Ze midah keneged midah." Sometimes husbands, they don't understand the feelings of a wife. The wife, she needs to feel loved. It's not extra. That's their oxygen. That's their life. Sometimes when a wife, she lives with her husband, what she wants to feel is, he loves me. And if you don't show it to her, you're killing her. It was so bad that Leah, for 3 kids, she's crying, Ribono shel olam, Yehavani ishi, Senua anochi, Ilave ishi, please Hashem, look my marriage, please do something. And it seemed that Yaakov Avinu had a little lack of feelings towards Leah, in his level. Once again, I'm talking, that's everything that I'm talking, it's according to his level and Leah's level. Ayapo hisaron was a lack of feelings towards his wife, because a wife needs to feel that she's loved, and when a husband takes it away from her, you're killing her. And Yaakov Avinu, he took away that love. He did not show that love all the way to Leah, and for that Hashem shilem li Yaakov tza'ar keneged tza'ar. You cause her pain, you're going to get also pain. And watch this. And maybe we can also explain what happened with the Shevatim. Why we see among the Shevatim jealousy and hatred between the brothers, it goes back to Mother Leah. She felt not happy. She felt that my husband doesn't like me so much. No wonder why the kids like this at home, they go through these challenges also. When there is a good marriage, the kids are healthy. When there is no good marriage, and it starts from the husband, most of the time, a wife needs to feel loved. And a wife who does not feel loved, you don't have to go head to head with them, because you're not going to win. Let it go. Let it go. You're only going to win. And you're going to win a big time. Now I want to take this. Ima'inu yod'im, as a husband, ima'inu yod'im, how much pain a woman has when she feels not loved, we would change our attitude. Will we change our attitude? I was thinking to myself whether I should say this story or not. I think I could say the story, but I'm saying the story only for one reason. I think there's a big message that sometimes we don't pay attention to it. I got a phone call one day. A lady called me and asked me a halakha question about, it was the night of the mikveh. It was a question, and it was the night of the mikveh, and according to halakha, she couldn't go to the mikveh that night. She had to wait. I'm not going to go into details. Meaning that she's not going to go to mikveh that night, she's going to have to wait. When I told her the halakha, her expression was this: oh, now my husband is going to be happy. Doesn't have to be with me. I'm telling you, tears came from my eyes. A wife is counting. She does everything. And it was halakha question. I'm not going to go into details now. And I told her that according to halakha, she cannot go to deep that night. She's going to have to wait. Her words that came out from her mouth was, oh, my husband is going to be happy. He doesn't have to be with me tonight. Abotai, I heard the pain. I felt what type of marriage she has. It was disaster. I'm telling you, I was in such a pain. Ka'av li kol kach. How could a couple live like this? He's going to be happy. Where is your feelings towards your wife? You don't care? That's it, it's over? They're not old, they're young. צער גדול היה לי. וזה מה שקורה עם יעקב אבינו. She's so thirsty for love, but he doesn't show her the love, and she's crying. But Hashem paid Yaakov Avinu midah keneged midah. And by the way, b'michirat Yosef, who was the head of the whole story? Yehuda. Why Yehuda? You are the one that your mother called the Apa'am Modet Hashem. You should have do better. You know better. You should have act better. אבל רבותיי, צריך לדעת after all, you ask yourself, ריבונו של עולם. You read פרשת השבוע, it seems צדיק ורע לו, רשע וטוב לו. עשיו, רשע גדול, he goes, has wives, he has party, he goes, he has a whole land, Har Sa'ir. He does whatever he wants. Hazit Yaakov, he learns Torah for 63 years. He gets Barachot by mistake. And then he has to run away from his brother. He gets to Lavan, he fooled them. And then again, he's between his wife and the kids. Ezet Sa'ar Yaakov, over. And you ask yourself, why? Lama? Why can't Yaakov Avinu had a good and normal life? Why? חברים יקרים, חז"ל tell us, כל מה דעביד רחמנה לטב עביד. And I want to give 2 minutes. Imagine Yaakov Avinu did not steal the berachot according to his mother. According, it didn't happen. Do you know what would happen? Yaakov Avinu he will never end up in Haran. He will never end up running away. Never. He's going to send his slave the same way Avraham Avinu sent Eliezer to get him a shidduch. And guess what? The slave is going to go to Lavan. He's going to ask, give me Rachel. He's going to get Rachel. He gets Rachel, and guess what? Rachel cannot bring you any 12 tribes. She was barren. And the only reason why she got 2 kids, it's because of the simanim that she gave her sister. So imagine Yaakov Avinu has a smooth life. He'd sent someone to bring his shidduch, Like Eliezer, he has Rachel, he has no kids. Ma'asa Hashem. Watch every step. He tells Rivka, go tell your son Yaakov, go take the berachot. Olech Yaakov, he takes the berachot. Now what happens? Esav hates him, wants to kill him. Yaakov runs away to his uncle. He goes to his uncle. According to Hashem's plan, you have to marry Leah and Rachel. But if you're going to work for Rachel, you're never going to get Leah. Ma'osa Hashem, he puts in Lavan's mind, go scam Yaakov Avinu. And meanwhile, he gets Leah Rachel. But hold on. Before you're going to get Rachel, I'm going to give you Leah. But before that, he sees Baruch HaKodesh that she's not going to marry with him. You know why? She's going to cry. Why? Because Am Yisrael Ba'atid in the future, they're going to go to the Galut. Which mother is going to be on the way that Am Yisrael is going to go and cry? Rachel Imenu. Which mother is going to cry for Am Yisrael? Rachel. So whatever Yaakov Avinu says in the beginning, that's Ba'at in the future. So Yaakov Avinu, he wants Rachel. But for you to get Rachel, you have to get Leah. But wait, hold on. If you're going to get Leah, you're not going to be, you're not going to be buried with Rachel. She's going to be outside of Ma'at HaMachpelah. But everything is for whom? For Am Yisrael. That's good. So you need to marry Rachel and Leah. And you need Rachel to be not buried in Ma'at HaMachpelah. She has to be outside. Why? For the sake of Am Yisrael. So be'emet, everything that happened to Yaakov between Rachel and Leah and Lavan, Akol haya, everything, ze letovah. Everything was letovah. But Yaakov Avinu had one challenge. Big nisayon. Would you believe in Hashem all the way, or are you going to drop? And what's the answer? Do you know what's the answer? I'll tell you what's the answer. The answer is in the end of the Parashat HaShavua. Did Yaakov Avinu won, or he lost? Was Yaakov Avinu a winner or a loser? A boy say, look at the end of the parasha. It says, "V'Yaakov halach ledarko, va'ifga'u bo malachei Elohim." Haverim mekarim. The parasha starts that Yaakov sees angels. Ro'eh sulam, he sees a letter, and he sees malachim olim ve'yordim. And in the end of the parasha, we see again Yaakov sees angels. But there is a big difference between the beginning and the end. In the beginning, he sees angels in dream, b'halom. And now, he sees the angels in real life. Why? Over there, it's before the challenges. You went to learn Torah, you're a holy man, no problem. You'll see angels only in dream. Once you pass the challenge between Rachel, Leah, V'kol HaNisyonot in the Shvatim, and now after 20 years of so many Nisyonot, you're a winner, Yaakov Avinu. All the Torah that you learn, you download from here to your heart. V'yadata hayom b'ashevot ha'elev avecha. All the Torah that you learn, Zayah halacha lema'aseh. Now you're worthy not to see angels in dream. Now Yaakov Avinu, he reached to the level to see malachim in real life. Why? Ki Yaakov Avinu hu atzmo malach kadosh shedmuto hakuka tahat kisei hakavod. It allowed me to end. This is one way how to learn the parasha. And has v'shalom, not to even to think for 1 second that Yaakov Avinu, he, garam tsa'ar le'le'ah halila v'chaz. It's according his level. And by the way, even Yaakov Avinu himself, hu lo yada, she is senu'ah in his heart. Why? Because it says in the pasuk, im ti'u b'fnim, katuv, vayar Hashem ki senu'ah le'ah. Only Hashem saw. Yaakov Avinu, even Yaakov lo yada it. Meaning, in Hashem's microscope, he took Yaakov's heart, he put it, zoom, 10 million. And he says there's a little black dot. That black dot compared to Rachel, there isn't. Oh, Yaakov, to your level, Senu'ah. It says, Vayar Hashem ki senu'ah. Rak Hashem ra'ah. Lo Rachel. ולא יעקב, and nobody. Only Hashem yada. Add a little dot. So גם אחרי, even after we learn this parasha, we have to know we're talking about Yaakov Avinu, בחיר שבאבות, קודש קודשים. נגענו a little bit about Yaakov, and we learn a big message in marriage. How wives have to take their challenges, and how men have to be sensitive to their wives. To be loved, it's not extra, זה החיים שלהם. And no, not to go head to head, you're not going to win. Take it, be positive, and you're going to gain to have Yehuda as a child. Shabbat Shalom, ובשורות טובות בעזרת השם.